I think we could definitely all agree is brilliant. He scored 3 out of England's 4 goals in the Euros so far. But you know what? It's not just a recent thing. He's always been a talented footballer.
He really has. An extraordinary young man. When he was just 15, he was spotted by the Liverpool Football Academy and moved to the city. A lot of people say at that time he could have gone to any academy he wanted to. The couple who hosted him, and I love that they're here with us now, Peter and Sandra Reeves, join us, along with David Moli, who also lived with Peter, Sandra and Raheem. And joining us is former England goalkeeper David Seaman. Thank you all for joining us. Let's come to you first, Peter and Sandra. How do you feel? He's had such an amazing tournament. You know, he comes across as such a humble guy, a humble young man. We all saw that photo with him and his son as well. I mean, just incredible. You must be incredibly proud.
Very, very proud indeed. But he's such a lovely lad, and he is very, very humble. He comes from a lovely family. There were a loving mother and family that have always behind him, you know. So we were very pleased to have him, and we just wish him all the best, and hopefully they get through to the end. We're all rooting for them.
So he was just 15, wasn't he, when he came with you, to have somewhere, safe to say, a nice family environment to stay in, away from his own loving family while he was at the academy. What was he like? Was he shy? Was he boisterous? I'm guessing he was already mad on football.
Oh, yeah, dead focused on football. That's all he seemed to think about. Him and Dave really got on well together. They had loads of fun. And they had another lad who used to come round as well, who lived in the next road, or was lodging in the next road, called Hennick. And he used to come. The 3 of them used to go to Liverpool, and they're all over the place, you know. We had to go and pick them up, and they'd always never be where they're supposed to be, you know.
David, I can see you smiling there, David Moli. You must have some really fond memories of your mate growing up with him. Maybe some cheeky moments as well?
Yeah, 100%. It was definitely fun. We were so young anyway, so we didn't really think much of it at the time, but we're just having fun. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it anyway, so yeah.
What impression did he make on you when you first met him?
I met him before he moved to Liverpool, because he's from London and I'm from Luton. And when he was a QPR, I was a Luton, so we played against each other. So I met him before that. Anyway, so the moment he came to Liverpool, we knew of each other anyway. So it was like, yeah, so it was just normal anyway. So yeah, well, he's a great guy anyway. So
it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think a lot of people don't realise that youngsters that come through the academies, you see all the advantages of that. But I guess one of the disadvantages is that you're away from home. You know, and as loving, I'm sure, as Peter and Sandra were, was that a challenging thing to deal with, and did the 2 of you band together?
Yes, that was definitely the key of why they put us both in the same house, because of we were so young and away from our family and whatnot. So it was definitely hard at first, but with Peter and Sandra, they made it so easy for us. So so after maybe a month, it was everything was normal. So we definitely enjoyed living with them. They were absolutely amazing. So yeah.
Let's speak to David Seaman now. David, people talk about you, and you speak to footballers right now. They'll say David Seaman was a great goalkeeper because he was there for the big games. He was there for the finals. He was, and he turned up and he delivered.
Showed up.
And a lot of times people have had lots of criticism about Raheem Sterling. There was a lot of criticism whether he should even be in the starting 11. But what he has proved in this tournament, when his nation has needed him, when his manager has needed him, he has really stood up, hasn't he? And that's the sign, really, of a class player.
It is. It's definitely a sign of a class player, and I'm so pleased for him that he's actually, that he's doing it on this massive stage. As a footballer, you've never ever doubted him. You know, you ask people. I was speaking to Tony Adams on my Seaman Says podcast, and he was saying that Raheem Sterling is a major player for this tournament, and I know why, because he's got so much pace. He frightens defenders. You know, he can embarrass defenders with that pace, and he's showing it. He's showing great ability to get into the box. These are the sort of goals that you would expect Harry Kane to be scoring, but Raheem is in there and he's getting his goals, and I'm so happy for him.
Yeah. Peter and Sandra, I mean, you know, we've talked about how proud you must be of this young guy. I mean, are you sort of hoping now he's going to be lifting that trophy with the captain, Harry Kane, at Wembley? Have you got your eyes on that now?
Oh, yeah, too right. Yeah. All the family. We've watched him from when he came. We used to go down to the club on a Saturday morning, used to train at Kirby, and we'd go with all the family down there, you know, supported. And it was always there. I mean, the club, right from where to go, knew. They came and said to us, would you have this young lad? And he's very special. And they got it right. He certainly is very special. We
should just explain, you've had a number of the players. It's something that you do, isn't it, where you have some of the players who end up at trials at Liverpool, and you've taken a few of them into your house, which is wonderful, really. Sandra?
We started taking trialists to begin with, and that's lads who come up and do a trial. They'd be there for a few days and then go back. And then they asked us to do permanent ones, which... We had a few before Raheem came, and then when
Dave came, didn't he?
Yeah, Dave was there before Raheem with another lad, and then that other lad went, and then Raheem came, and then Dave had to move off to somewhere else because he was older, and we had another young lad from Ireland in then, Alex O'Hanlon. He came with absolutely nothing at all, and Raheem shared all his gear with him, and next thing you know, there's Alex with all his gear on. Raheem just shared it all with him, you know. It was marvellous.
Yeah, I said to Raheem, this lad's got nothing, and Raheem said, just go in my room and give him whatever you want. That is Raheem. He wasn't, he was very generous. Lovely. He even came one day with a pair of football boots for my grandson with his name on, after he left, which I really treasured. So he's a very thoughtful young man. He's lovely.
Well, I'm sure you had influence over him back then when he was 15. I'm sure he's learned a lot of that from you. David, we have to talk about Dave Moli. We should talk about what you're up to now. An acclaimed artist. Tell us about what your artwork now. We can see some of it behind you there.
Yeah, so that's what I do now, to be fair, just art, and I enjoy it. It's a little bit different from playing football, of course, but yeah, it's something that I enjoy now. So yeah, I'm just glad that it's going well, and it's a true blessing. So yeah.
So let's have a quick whip round then and see what you think the score would be and who's going to score. Let's start with you, David.
Which David?
Oh, sorry, Moli.
We've got two David.
Oh, Moli.
Yes, Dave Moli. Dave
Moli, yeah, only because we were still talking to you. We'll come to you, David Seaman, as well. Don't you worry about that. Dave Moli.
Tomorrow, I think it's going to be 2-0 to us. And
2-0.
Yeah.
And Sterling's going to score.
Harry Kane and Raheem again.
Yeah, Raheem again. Of course it will be.
Peter and Sandra, what's your prediction?
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be 3, definitely 3.
Ultra
Raheem, I'm loving it. Wouldn't that be amazing?
I'm assuming you have less reason to be biased about who does the scoring, but what's your prediction?
Yeah, I'm going to go, hopefully, 2-0 to England, but seriously, any win will do, even if it's 10-9 or we go through on penalties. We've just
exactly.
Even if we get through on penalties, it's just a win is all that matters.
Let's try and avoid penalties.
Where are you watching it, David? Where are you going to be watching the match?
I'll be watching it from home. You know, obviously we can't go out to Italy, which is a shame. I was at Wembley the other day, and that was an amazing atmosphere.
I know you were at Wembley the other day, Mr. Seaman, because I saw you going up the escalator. I sort of waved to you thinking, it's me, we've chatted on the telly so many times. And you just looked at me going, who's this weirdo? But I think it's because I had the mask on. You probably didn't recognise me. Is that right? I hope so.
Obviously it was the mask.
Yeah, it's not because his mates were Ed Sheeran or anything like that. It wasn't they didn't recognise you. David, absolute pleasure. It's all got a bit awkward now. I think we should wrap it up. Peter and Sandra, I'm sure you'll be cheering on, and Dave as well. Lovely to chat to all of you this morning. And, of course, you can follow all the Euro action on ITV.